Good morning. Good morning. Just going to wait for my phone to flash up to know that everything is online, everything's working. So we are live now on LinkedIn, on my personal profile, and also on YouTube today. So let's give it 30 seconds just to make sure everything is working, make sure everything is clear, everyone can hear me as well. Okay, cool. Looks like we're working. Great. Okay, everything's live. Everything is loaded up, which is fantastic. So, good morning, guys. Thank you for joining me on your busy Friday. I'm hoping that it's one of those days where things have calmed down for you a little bit. You've got a bit of time to focus on something other than work. Friday's generally a day that we can get some stuff done, but might have a little more time to focus on ourselves. Hence the reason I do this at coffee time around 11, 12 o'clock. So today, really, I'm going to talk to you very specifically around the 5 steps that we take our VIP clients through to help them to lose weight, optimize their health. And, the most important part of this is that, you're busy people running companies, you've got lots of restrictions around your diary. So I want to show you the exact blueprint, the exact 5 steps that we use with our clients, which helps them to get in incredible shape, to optimize their health, optimize their habits, have a happier, more healthier long-term life as well, all around an insane schedule. So hopefully you guys can hear me nice and clearly. I can spot comments. If you make any comments, if you've got any questions, you can just ping those on the comments box, either on LinkedIn as a preference, or you can put it on YouTube as well. And I'll see those pop up. We will have a Q&A at the end of this as well, 10, 15 minutes to answer any specific questions that you have. So the title of this presentation, today's workshop, is Zero Time Maximum Results, the Executive's Guide to Sustainable Fat Loss. Now, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of executives and business owners, and I know that fat loss, weight loss is something that many of them would love to achieve, but just can't do it. They either don't have the time, they can't find those pockets of time in their crazy schedule. They're just out for lunch with clients too much. They're just traveling too much. They've got home life. There's lots of stuff going on. So we've constructed this system over the last, 8, 9 years of us being in business, but I've been doing this personally for 21 years. For those of you who don't know who I am and why you should maybe listen to what I'm telling you, my name's Cameron Harris, obviously, as you can see, and I'm a personal trainer by trade. I'm the managing director of Truth Fitness. And for the last 21 years, I've been helping business owners and executives across the globe to transform their health in as little as 16 weeks. Been featured in a range of national press, from the Telegraph to Independent newspaper to GQ magazine to Women's Health as well, and spoken at a number of universities about habit optimization, executive health, and sport and exercise science as well. Typically, our clients work with us from anywhere from 16 weeks up to 3 years, and we help them to lose weight, to get a handle on their nutrition and their training, and help them to look at, the long-term health benefits of, having a structured training and nutrition program in place. So as we get into the presentation, guys, it's going to be fairly heavy duty. There's going to be lots and lots of information in here. I've distilled it down to, a point where hopefully it's really clear for you guys. I've done this presentation lots of times. If you do have questions, just stick them in the comments box and I'll answer those at the end. And, after this call, do feel free to reach out and ask any questions that you have specifically for your situation, because this information, right, is a framework. It's a structured kind of framework. But it won't necessarily mean that you can take this and specifically, put it into your life, because there's lots of different moving parts, right? There's lots of different arms to this. But I want to give you the overview so you understand, right, this is what I need to do. These are the 5 steps I need to take. So quick introduction to the Truth Fitness team. We're a small team. All these guys have been with me for many years, and we get incredible results with our clients. We are not volume. We are not AI automation. We are the opposite ends of that. We are hyper personalized. We only work with our clients one-to-one, whether that's working one-to-one with a business owner, a founder, an executive, or one-to-one with a team of executives and founders as well. But everything we do is hyper personalized. So Everything that we create, everything that we do, every interaction we have with our clients, it's one-to-one and it's bespoke to every single person. I want to make that really clear because there are thousands and thousands of people within my industry that are going to go the other way, which is around automation and AI. And I totally get it because they're solo coaches and they're trying to have an impact. But if you think that that's not going to work for you, if you've tried that type of coaching before and you just know you need that one-to-one, white glove approach, that's where we sit within the market. So let's talk a little bit about, current times. So, over the last even 5 years, things have really changed. Okay. With the dawn of AI, with the dawn of, very reliable technologies, business has changed. It's completely global now. You can be competing with people that are 2,000 miles away, that have less experience than you, that are simply using AI and technology, that are really good at leveraging AI and technology. You're now competing with those types of people as well. So the whole world of kind of hierarchical businesses where it's all about experience and age and getting your steps up the ladder, it's all very much changed. Even the outlook of what does a kind of inspirational CEO look like? The age of Philip Green, always use that poor guy as an example, but the age of, looking at Philip Green as an archetypal, successful business owner executive, heavy lunches and cigar smoking and wine drinking and big lunches and shouting and that kind of aggressive type of CEO. Those days are gone now. That's not the type of person that we look up to. We look up to people like Jeff Bezos, right? I use him as an example because obviously he's very famous. He's out in the world. He's got himself in the best shape of his life. He looks great. He's structuring training around his busy schedule. That is the type of person now that really all CEOs across the globe are starting to look up to. There's never been a time in history where CEOs are under, and business owners, executives are under more spotlight. They're expected to have a social element to what they do. They're going to be on social media much more now than they would have been 10 years ago. There's going to be more presentations out into the world. So health, fitness, training, nutrition, as a business owner, as an executive, it's, in my opinion, it's no longer a non-negotiable. It's not something that you can just say, oh, hey, it's a secondary spend or something I haven't got to worry about, And when you hear it from the great man himself, talking about the benefits of sleep, the benefits of training, the benefits of energy, it's very, very clear, very apparent that if you want to compete in the new global AI-driven market that is the world we now live in, and it will be for the foreseeable future, as human beings at the top of the business tree, we have to give some priority to our health. And I tell you why very clearly, because you will lose if you don't. Because there are computers, there are AI-generated machines, there are algorithms, there are people that are younger than us, that are healthier, fitter, stronger, more driven, more focused, more into, being the best version of themselves, that also know technology. So in my perspective, in my opinion, if you want to have a big impact on ourselves, on our business, on our societal people around us, on our children, health now, it just simply isn't something that needs to be put in a box to the side. If you want to compete, if you want to keep moving forward, you have to keep pushing. You have to find a way to get yourself into the best health possible. And I think everyone that's on this call today kind of knows that, right? We're all aware of the situation, but I'm not going to bore you with evidence, but the evidence is clear now. There's so much new information coming out around the new levels of burnout that CEOs are seeing. There's a great study that's just come out, a great report that's come out in the Financial Times, stating that CEOs are now kind of experiencing weekly burnout rather than yearly burnout. They're actually having burnout symptoms daily. CEOs now we've got evidence showing us there's a 15%, higher mortality rate. Essentially mean if you're a CEO in a modern industry that is driven by AI and the disruption that's come with that, the pressure of learning AI, the pressure of your team learning AI, the pressure of the questions coming from your team saying, hey, am I going to lose my job? It's a very disruptive time. And if you're not in great shape, if you're not looking after yourself, you're looking at losing 1.2 to 1.5 years off of your life. Fact. Okay. So the thing that blows my mind is that people that are very successful and aren't in shape, my question to those guys is, imagine what you could do if you were in shape. Okay. So I'm sure some of you guys watching this today, that on this workshop, you've struggled with some of the things I've just spoken about, whether it's, work stress, whether it's family stress, financial stress, insane hours, AI stress. Probably it's a little bit of all of those. Crippling travel. So whether it's planes, trains, automobiles, throwing that in the mix, squeezing that family time, squeezing that time that you've got to look after yourself as well. And a big one that people don't really talk about, and I've been very open and transparent about my struggles with this, and it's something that I'm always working on, is my kind of predisposition to using alcohol as a stress reliever. I've done it in the past. When COVID hit, I did lean on alcohol a lot as a way to release that stress, relieve that stress. I know a lot of people do that in executive jobs. It might just be I'm going for lunch with a couple of co-workers, but using it as a tool to relieve stress. We all know, I know, everyone knows that alcohol is not a great way to relieve stress. It's an obvious way to relieve stress. It's quick, it's fast, it gets rid of all that stress in an instant. Nothing in your brain, that pressure and that worry, that anxiety just disappears. But then it comes back tenfold the next day. And I've experienced it personally. I'm sure you guys have experienced it personally as well. Also, there's a big worry about early death. The things I've just spoken about, the mortality rate. If you're 45, 50, 55, and you're out of shape, you're not sleeping great, you're drinking too much, you're eating too much, your anxiety's through the roof because of things we've just spoken about. You haven't got to be a rocket scientist to know that you are in the upper echelons, the higher percentiles of big, big issues with your health. We're talking cancers, Alzheimer's, dementias, heart attacks, angina, all the stuff that comes with that. Now, we're all humans. We all know that we're going to die, right? But if we can push that as far down the road as possible and make sure the quality of our life is as high as possible for as long as possible, for me, I think that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Yes, there's always going to be that exception to the rule. But if we're doing everything we possibly can to reduce those risks, because we're running companies and this stress, this pressure is always here, I think we can pat ourselves on the back and say, yeah, we're doing a good job. Unmanageable to-do lists, health not being a priority. And a big one as well that none of us really want to admit, but this issue around self-esteem. If our buttons are popping on our shirt and we're having a board meeting or we're doing a presentation, we just feel a bit shit. We don't feel good. We don't feel authentic to ourselves. We feel like we're coming across as, I'm not the best version of myself. I'm sweaty, I'm hot, I'm not in great shape. And when you start to align with that, when you start to be honest with ourselves and say, do you know what? I do need to get in shape. I do need to lose some weight. I do need to look after myself. Trust me, it's not as simple as eat less and move more. The benefits that you get from actually taking a holistic approach to this and being more professional and having a kind of much deeper look at your health, the benefits are off of the charts. And a big issue, guys, is that there's never been more information. With the dawn of AI, with the dawn of Google, really, there's never been more information out there. I would say that I speak to, on average, probably around 10 to 15, very high level business owners and executives every single month. And I'd say 90% of those conversations, it comes up that there's so much information out there that it's just confusing. I want to just tell you now that someone that's been doing this for 21 years, the information probably is completely irrelevant to you as someone that's running a company. The pressures, the time pressures, the lack of structure around your training, the kind of individual pressures that come from different members of staff, the travel, et cetera, right? The information you're going to find on Instagram, it's just not going to work for you. It's not bespoke. It's for probably people that are, working 9 to 5s. They're not too bothered about getting to the gym at 5:30. They can have a bit more of a restful, more structured morning. That's probably not you. That's probably why you're on the call today. Okay. So if that resonates with you guys, I can just assure you that you're in the right place. So very quickly, let's have a quick swig of water. Before we get into the exact steps that we take with our clients, I just want to quickly say that I would probably get a pen and paper out. I'd probably note these down. And as you're noting those down, I've put some little key points in there so that you can start to understand how you can take the individual steps and utilize those and implement them into your life directly. So do take notes on this, guys. This will live on my profile, so you can actually see this afterwards. But while you're in the moment, while the information's fresh, get a pen and paper out. Just note down some key points for yourself, because you can take this essentially and start to list out ways that you can change what you're already doing to start seeing the benefits. Now, you know, this is not typical information that you're going to see everywhere else. You'll look at this and go, okay, that's different to most of the stuff that I see. We've practiced this a lot of times, over 400 times, I would say, with different executives and business owners. So have a little bit of trust in what we're saying and just take the information, distill it down to help you personally, right? So I think, you know, let's take this as professionally as we possibly can, and I'll share as much as I can while we're doing this presentation. So essentially what we've distilled our process down into is 5 simple steps. So you've got chefs. So chef, the word chefs with an S, right? So we've got sleep, we've got habits, we've got exercise, we've got food, and we've got steps. Those are the 5 individual steps that we take our clients through every single time without fail. And this is what works for them every single time. Okay. So let's start on sleep. Now, sleep for me, I'm gonna start with this on purpose. If, you know, let's make this as clear as possible. When it comes to sleep, if your sleep is not long enough, if your sleep quality is not high enough, you will never get the results that you want, full stop. You just won't. There's a couple of reasons for that, okay? One is you're not giving your body enough time, your body and mind enough time to recover. So you're not going to recover from whatever you're trying to do. Secondary to that, if your sleep is a little bit crap, you will never have the energy and the mental clarity to do the stuff that you need to do. When your sleep is crap, your inhibitions are lowered and your defense mechanism is lowered. Your immune system is crap. You're more likely to grab a pint on a Thursday because you feel tired. You're more likely to grab, a Mars bar, a Snickers bar when you walk past the corner shop. So if your sleep is not in place, guys, from a hormonal perspective, your hormones will not be optimal. Sleep is the most important thing that you can fix right now to start getting results that you want. So just on the most basic, simple point of this, if you can start to improve your sleep, even 10%, you will start to feel and see results within your body, within your mindset, within your outlook of the world. Full stop. Okay. The amount of people I speak to that are running companies that think that they can, you know, get results without having to worry about their sleep, or they don't need to, you know, get as much sleep as they do. Just a quick newsflash, guys. We're not robots. We're humans. We're all the same. We need the same amount of sleep within a couple of minutes. Okay. If you lose 1.5 hours sleep, you lose about 32% productivity. So even if you think that you're being productive, even if you think you're getting shit done and you're down an hour and a half sleep, you know, you're just not. It's just not possible. You're telling yourself that you can, but you will be down on energy. You will be down on focus. You're going to struggle to focus on tasks. In fact, we had a client sign up start of the week, and he had spoke to us about this specific task that he knows he's got to do. It's going to require him to sit down for 4 hours and just bang this task out. It's quite boring, quite a kind of, you know, repeatable type kind of task. And he's put it off for 6 months. And a lot of it is down to the fact that he's not resting. His brain just can't handle it. So a couple of questions to ask yourself, guys. Now, do feel free to ping a question at the moment if you've got any questions coming up for you specifically. We're really happy to answer those. But a couple of questions to ask yourself just to kind of gauge where your sleep is right now, okay? Is it easy for you to fall asleep? Do you put your head on the pillow and bang, you fall asleep, right? Do you stay asleep? So do you get up at 1 o'clock for a wee? Do you wake up at 4 o'clock every morning with your brain, you know, ticking over like this, okay? Do you wake up without an alarm? Do you need an alarm to wake you up? And do you need coffee? So caffeine is, you know, it's not an issue in and itself. If you enjoy a nice coffee, that's all good. But if you need coffee to actually wake yourself up and to get into the day and do the stuff you need to do, probably there's something wrong with your sleep, because you're needing that caffeine to get you into the position where you can do the stuff that you need to do. Okay. So once you've answered those questions and being really honest with yourself, you know, if you're not getting a minimum of 7 hours sleep, if you're not staying asleep as well, If you're waking up groggy, you're waking up having to have alarm wake you up. If you need a large coffee to get you moving, this slide's going to help you. There's something called sleep hygiene, which essentially is the kind of hour before you go to bed. That's the kind of what it means. It's the routine, the structure that you have before you go to bed. Now, it blows my mind how many people don't have any structure. It's just do stuff and then try to sleep. Okay. We haven't changed for a very long time from a brain standpoint, from a physical body standpoint. We are used to waking up with the sun. We're used to going to sleep when the sun goes down. That's it. Okay. So we need to start getting ourselves into a position where we start to have some kind of structure around our sleep. Okay. So 60 minutes prior to bed. This is when you need to start thinking about your sleep as an absolute bare minimum. Okay. Once you get off this workshop today, I'm hoping that you start to have a think about your structure. Okay. So 60 minutes prior to bed, stop drinking water. The amount of people I speak to that have to do a wee at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock at night because they're having, a large tea in bed or having a pint of water is crazy. Once you're awake at 1 o'clock, you've disrupted your sleep. Your body and brain is now awake. It's going to take you at least an hour to get back into that REM. And funny enough, the alarm goes off and funny enough, you feel crap. Okay. An hour before bed, stop drinking water. Okay. What kind of lights do you have? If you think about Charles Dickens writing his novels, that's the kind of light that you want to have. I'm not saying you need to have a candle, but sort of think about low lights. I've got these big, heavy, Tottenham Hotspur's training ground lights above my head. This is not indicative for somebody trying to sleep. My brain can see the light. It thinks that I should be awake. Okay. So just think about the lighting you've got in your room. Is it kind of low light? Is it a softer light? Start to look at blackout blinds. If you haven't got blackout blinds, the light from the street lights is going to come through. The sun's going to come through. I know it's coming into winter now, so the days are shorter. It's not so big of an issue, but you don't want light coming into the room. So those blackout blinds are really, really important as well. So once you've got those couple of things in place and you're not drinking water before bed, you've got some low light, you've got blackout blinds as well. Start to think about what you're going to do before bed. Stop using your computer and your iPhone in bed. That blue light is like a shot of caffeine straight into your brain. It's stopping you from falling asleep. Sometimes it's not stopping you falling asleep, but it's stopping you falling into that deep REM sleep where your brain actually recovers and you feel good in the morning. You get that recovery where you feel like you're able to attack those tasks that you need to attack. Okay. Stop using your phone in bed is a big one. A great tool that people generally don't use is reading in bed. Read something that is not business related. If you're starting to read, I've got some business books here. If you're reading a new book on sales and marketing just before you go to bed, your brain's going to engage with that and it's going to make you want to start thinking about work-related issues, work-related stuff. There's another thing for my to-do list. Generally speaking, you want to read something that you just enjoy, whether it's, a crime novel. I enjoy reading kind of fantasy stuff, which is just off into, dragons and swords and all this kind of stuff, because I just enjoy reading it. I like those kind of films. I enjoy reading it. And trust me, if you start to read kind of 10, 15 minutes before you want to go to sleep, 9 times out of 10, you'll just fall asleep. Okay. Another couple of tips for you as well is you don't want to have any caffeine after midday. It can feel quite strict for some people, but the amount of executives and owners I speak to that are drinking coffees at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon and evening and wondering why they're not staying asleep is pretty crazy. It's crazy. So caffeine has like a 13-hour half-life, which means when you ingest it, it fires around your system and it's still having a stimulatory effect on your body and on your brain. So caffeine, ideally stop it by midday, 2 p.m. at the latest. Some people are more sensitive to caffeine than other people. I'm personally not very, very sensitive. I've learned that through DNA testing. Some people are very, very sensitive. But generally speaking, if you can have your coffee in the morning, stop by midday, that's going to help you move into that REM sleep, that deep recovery sleep, and make you feel much more rested. A quick one, and this is, I think we're getting a bit more knowledgeable about this across the board, but alcohol doesn't help you sleep. There's people within my circle that still say this, bottle of red wine helps me sleep. A bottle of red wine is going to help you fall asleep because you're going to pass out. Around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you will wake up because your liver is having to process that alcohol And that is then making you wake up. Cortisol shoots up and you sit there staring at the wall going, this is really shit. I've got to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and I feel crap. Or maybe it's a Friday and Saturday morning you've got kids football or you've got something that you need to do. So booze does not help you sleep, guys. So I'm not going to sit here and be a booze, Nazi. I enjoy a glass of red wine. But generally speaking, if you can get alcohol out of your week, it's going to really help with your sleep, your recovery. And like I said to you at the start of this slide here, if you can get booze down, it's going to help you just to improve your sleep, which then improve your likelihood of kind of moving on to those all those results that you really want to achieve. So if you've got any questions there, guys, give me a shout. Just had a quick suggestion by Nigel. So he said that his Whoop band as a haptic alarm, and it's really a proper game changer. Yeah, so some of the new modern watches have these really cool alarms on them, little warning triggers around, getting your steps in, things around get yourself to sleep, all those kind of things. So, I think Whoop bands and Apple Watches, all that kind of stuff are great. But if you're starting from the ground up, if you're starting from ground zero, let's just start with the basics. Let's start with all the things I've spoken about. Let's start with sleep hygiene, that structure around what you're doing, having that structure around sleep. And trust me, if you can fix your sleep 10, 15, 20%, it will have a massive impact on everything I've spoken about: energy, focus, results, hormone levels, mood, everything. Right. Thanks for that, Nigel. Appreciate that, mate. So let's get into the next one, which is habits. Now, the great thing about habits is that if you're short of time, if you're traveling a lot, if you're stuck in the car, if you've always got Zoom meetings back to back, which I know some of you guys have, the great thing about habits is it doesn't really take you much more time to take those poor habits and flip them into good habits. Okay. So just to give you a quick story, when I first started True Fitness, kind of 9 years ago now, 8-9 years ago, one of the issues that I was having was that I was seeing these, executives, business owners in the gym 2, 3, even sometimes 4 times a week for their personal training sessions, right? And I'd work with them for 2, 3, 4 months. I'm sitting there going, their results aren't that great. As hard as they're training, they're not losing body fat as quickly as I would like. They're not getting as strong as I would like. They're not feeling energized as much as I'd like. And when we started to look into that, when I started to look more into why is that, one of the huge reasons is that when you're working out, even if it's 2, 3, 4 hours a week, it's not a lot. It's 24 hours in a day, right? And you've got 7 of those in a week. The habits, the stuff you do outside of the session, that's where the magic happens. So if any of you guys have seen a personal trainer and spent hundreds, if not thousands of pounds on a personal trainer, you've been disappointed by the results, probably it's because they weren't helping you with your habits and holding you accountable to them. So get your pen and paper out, guys, because I'd say along with sleep, this is one of the most impactful parts of the workshop. So I want you to make a long list of all of the bad habits that you have from a daily perspective. Okay, I'll give you an example. I only get 500 steps in a day, or I always have Haribo sweets around 4 o'clock, or I always hit my alarm to snooze, which then throws my whole morning out, which then means I end up getting a croissant and a latte rather than having time to cook myself some eggs. Okay. List out all of the bad habits you've got. It could even be as simple as smoking, right? It could be as simple as alcohol. It could be as simple as I never eat any protein. I don't know for you specifically. I'm just giving you examples. This is your responsibility now to take this and make this list. Okay. Once you've got that long list, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 20, I'm not sure. It depends on how many bad habits you've got as an individual. Have a look at that list and start to rank from 1 to 4, maybe 1 to 5. Which of those is having the biggest negative impact on your health and your results? Okay. So give an example, the steps one we spoke about earlier. I never go for walks. I never get over 500 steps in. Maybe that could be one of those top 4. Okay. I would only suggest doing 1 to 5 max, maybe 3 to 4. The more focused those habits are, the shorter that list is, the more likely you are to actually change them. If you make a long list of 20 habits, bad habits, it's just too much. You're going to struggle to actually change those. Okay. 3 to 5 is about the sweet spot. So once you've got those bad habits, once you've thought about and you've really kind of confirmed the top 3 to 5 that are the worst ones, we're going to take those bad habits and we're going to flip them. Okay. As an example, I only get 500 steps in a day. Cool. What will be opposite of that? Habit number 1 is I'm going to go for a walk every day for 20 minutes. Done. Not difficult. It can be done before work. It can be done with your AirPods in while you're having an informal chat with a colleague. It can be done while you have an informal chat with a friend or an associate. You can go out and walk. It can be done on a coffee break. It can be done on your lunch break. It can be done after work. Maybe you've got to pack it into the weekend. I don't know. But you have to start making that list of habits. Okay. So once you've hit that first target, which is that 20-minute walk every day, tick it off. Okay. You're literally building out a to-do list like you would do in your business. Okay. So let's say you've got do a 20-minute walk. Maybe you've got drink 2 liters of water. Maybe you've got don't hit the alarm. I don't know what it's going to be for you. Well, once you've got that list, stick it somewhere you can see it, whether it's in front of your desk, whether it's in your diary, whether it's in your physical diary, I don't know, a Notion calendar, whatever works for you, and make sure you tick them off every day. The most difficult part of this is actually having the accountability to tick those off daily. This is the best route to take without having to, invest in somebody to keep you accountable, because we're all human and we do skip things. I do it myself. We miss things and suddenly you've not done it for 2 days and then those habits start to unravel. Cool. That's habits. Let's look a little bit at exercise now. Now, the next 2 slides, which are exercise and nutrition, I could do probably a 3-hour workshop on both. I could bring members of my team in that will give even deeper insights than I can. It's a very, very large subject. But what I want to do today is to just point out a couple of things that maybe you could improve across the board. Some things that I've observed over the last 21 years for people that aren't getting results, and take that information, look at what you're currently doing and see if you can tweak what you're doing to get better results. So very quickly, a couple of questions for you. So this is a big one, right? If you look at your training program at the moment, are you achieving the results that you want? If you've been following that program for more than a month, for more than 30 days, and you haven't got the results that you want, that program isn't working. Full stop, exclamation mark. Okay. If you've been going to the gym 3 times a week and hitting the running machine and hitting the treadmill and hitting the cross trainer, and then you go and have a sauna, you've been having a swim, or you've been doing some weights and you aren't getting the results that you want, that training program isn't working. So in my opinion, just get your head around the fact that you need to probably get that training program and start again, because it's just not working. There's nothing worse for me from a training perspective for turning up every day or turning up 3 times a week to a gym or working out home and just getting nowhere. It just feels a little bit helpless to me. So let's see if we can help you, right? A couple of questions for you. Is it time efficient? When you get to the gym or do your workout, is it effective? Do you actually get into that space? Are you in the right headspace? Are you hitting the workouts as you need to do? Are you hitting your sets and reps and volume goals? Are you sticking to your rest times? Okay. Is it time efficient? If you're spending more than an hour in the gym or an hour working out, it suggests to me that you're doing the wrong stuff, because in an hour, you should be able to get your body mobile. You should be able to warm your body up. You should be able to get the strength program done or whatever you need to do, and then cool down as well. If you're not getting all that stuff booked in there, excuse me, if you're not getting all that stuff done, it's not effective. Is it flexible? Does it work around your crazy schedule? If you're busy, for executive, business owner, and you're watching this and you aren't able to get the workouts in around your crazy schedule, your busy diary, your business diary, your family diary, whatever it may be, it's ineffective. It needs to be time efficient. It needs to be flexible. I'll give you an example. Let's imagine you've got a workout booked Monday morning, 7 o'clock. You're going to wake up, coffee, straight to the gym, right? But then suddenly a board meeting gets put in your diary. You have to travel into London, whatever it may be, right? If that session then gets skipped, is it flexible enough for you then to do it somewhere else? If it's not flexible enough, you're going to fall off. Full stop. Okay. And thirdly, are you missing sessions? Are you skipping sessions? Skipping 1 is okay. Skipping 2 is the end of your program and your results. You have to make sure that if you skip 1, it needs to be flexible and time efficient enough to get back in your diary somewhere. Over the years, there has been a real focus on cardiovascular exercise. So I know if you're watching this, if you're listening to this workshop later on, going into running or hitting the cross trainer or hitting the bike, I think running specifically, I want to talk about right now. It's easy, it's free. It just takes, some trainers and maybe an app to monitor your running. It makes a lot of sense. There's Couch to 5Ks, there's lots of park runs, there's lots of reasons to go running. Okay. Now, anyone that's kind of had a one-on-one consultation with me, a member of my team, you'll often hear us talk about this risk and reward balance when it comes to running. Okay. There's somebody on this call right now who I know can actually testify to this because it's happened to them. If you're starting out on your weight loss or your health journey, the best place to start is not to start with running. Okay. So if you look at the risk of running, you can fall over, you can trip over, you can pull a muscle, and you're 100% guaranteed if you are overweight and out of shape, you will cause problems in your body, whether it's a long-term knee issue, whether it's a hip issue, whether it's a back issue. The impact that running has on your joints, on your body, means the risk is really, really high and the reward is really, really low. Yes, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you accomplished something. You're going to feel like you're full of energy and vibrant. You're going to get that post-run buzz, but the chances that you hurt yourself are very, very high. So in my opinion, the best thing you can do is focus on big muscle movement. So learn how to strength train, learn how to deadlift, learn how to press, learn how to pull. Okay. Now I can't do that on this call today because it's a very technical subject. And, yes, there's YouTube videos. Yes, there's stuff that you can download and have a look at. But really and truly, the best way of doing this is to get someone who's an expert to actually give you some information and help you to understand what are the best ways that I should be strength training. Okay. Learning how to strength train is a lot more difficult than running, but the results are huge. Okay. You're going to become stronger. Your posture will become better. Your hormonally, you'll be much more balanced. Your joints become stronger. Your ligaments become stronger. You increase the amount of muscle in your body, which means it's a lot easier to maintain your body weight as well. So strength training for me, also the risk is really low, right? Strength training for me really is where you should start focusing. Cardio is great. There's lots of benefits to cardio, but again, it's part of the puzzle. It's not fixing the issue. Okay. Can everyone still hear me, guys? Could someone just give me a quick thumbs up because I've lost the connection on the LinkedIn post I'm looking at from my phone. So it still says I'm live. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm going to keep cracking on. Okay. I think you guys can still hear me. Cool. Let's get into nutrition. Again, with nutrition, it's a huge subject. Now, we spoke about this at the front of the call around, how hotly contested it is and how much, different information there is out there, right? I want to very quickly tell you something that maybe you don't know because you're not within the fitness industry. People at the top of the tree when it comes to nutritional knowledge and nutritional information argue all of the time, whether it's calorie counting crew or keto crew or vegan crew or whatever you want to kind of throw into the mix. There is lots of different information out there. And even the people that are supposed to be in the know, actually, cheers, Nigel. Actually, the people at the top are still arguing. Now, I'll give you a quick story. One of my guys at the moment is doing their level 4 advanced nutrition course. And we're sitting there watching the course, we're watching the videos, we're digesting the information, answering the questions. And I'm sitting there thinking, a lot of this is really not true. It's not information that's very helpful to people. And the reason I say that is because even the nutritional courses that are out there don't really agree. There's like a standard that nutrition, a standard path that you take when it comes to nutrition. But again, how much of it is actually useful to the people that you are, entrepreneurs, executive, business owners, business leaders, right? So we've refined the way we do things. We keep it really simple. We don't go down the calorie counting route. And the reason we do that is because we've done this hundreds and hundreds of times. So here's some observations that I've made and hopefully these resonate with you specifically. Okay. Number one, when we speak to a lot of our clients, people that start to work with us specifically, they do not eat enough protein. Okay. There's a huge rhetoric around protein, and it has been for the last couple of years. I think it's slightly changing now, that we overeat on meat. In my experience of chatting to hundreds of business owners and executives over the years, I would say, and this is UK based specifically, right? Most of them don't eat enough protein. In fact, they overeat on carbohydrates. We're talking Tesco meal deals, packets of crisps, Mars bars, cereal, toast. Culturally in the UK, there's a lot of carbohydrate and sugar already in the diets. And I find that most people undereat on protein, without a doubt. And they also undereat on fats as well. So when it comes to proteins, we like to talk about animal proteins because a thing like a ribeye steak, for example, is far superior to anything else that you're able to eat, from a macronutrient, from the protein, from the fats to the micronutrients are inside of that, compared to a vegetarian or vegan version. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get protein into your diet as a vegan or vegetarian, but it's a lot more difficult and it's just not as good quality. Okay. So generally speaking, animal protein, fish, steak, chicken, all that kind of stuff, right? And healthy fats. So healthy fats being avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, all that kind of stuff, right? If you're eating high quality protein, high quality meats, things like steak, chicken thighs, lamb, it's already going to have those fats in it, which are going to help to keep you full. They're going to help to keep you satiated as well. And a big one that I see all the time, guys, is that most people I speak to overeat on sugar. Either they physically eat sugar, your donuts and your crisps and your chocolate, all that kind of stuff, or fizzy drinks or alcohol as well, or they eat it in ways that don't even know that it's inside of that product. Okay. Chili sauce be an example. The amount of people I see that are using chili sauce twice a day and going through like 2 bottles of chili sauce every week, packed with sugar. There's some really good ones out there. There's some really bad ones, ketchups, sauces, all this kind of stuff that people don't really think of being full of sugar, but they're 40, 50% sugar. Okay. So what starts to happen when people start to eat more protein? They start to improve the amount of fat that they eat, increase the amount of fat they eat. They start to eat more green vegetables. They start to reduce the sugar. Well, what actually happens is the body starts to recover better from training, start to feel stronger. They don't feel hungry because they're eating nutrient-dense foods. They're eating high protein, eating good fats, and they're being satiated by those green vegetables. Okay. They start to reduce the inflammation in their body, start to get rid of water, and their weight starts to drop. The energy goes through the roof. Okay. Now, a lot of this can be down to the Randall cycle, which very simply is a competition that goes on within your body between what the energy systems that the body burns. Is it going to burn glucose, sugar, glycogen, or is it going to burn fats, fatty acids? Okay. When you eat lots of sugar and carbohydrates, your body always burns sugars and carbohydrates, which means you're not burning fat, which makes it really difficult. When you're having lots of good quality proteins, nutrient-dense foods, high quality fats, and green vegetables, your body starts utilizing the fat storage that you have. Okay. This is why we kind of take umbrage when it comes to flexible dieting and, the lots of influencers out there telling you can eat pizza and you can eat burgers and you can have fries and eat whatever you want. At the end of the day, guys, if you're being serious about your health, let's start to eat better across the board. Let's start to get more knowledge around what a good plate of food actually looks like. Okay, well, very quickly, guys, we've got 30 seconds together. This QR code will take you to a very simple form, which will allow you to book a diagnostic call with us. Okay. Us as a business, we've been doing this 9 years now. We've worked with over 400 business owners, executives, and their teams across the globe now. We've been doing this for a long time. Me personally, I've not been a part-time plumber, a decorator, and personal trainer. This is all I've ever done. And my team's got huge experience in what we do. We've been featured in the press now. We've got some really exciting things coming up next year. And we are really good at what we do. Okay. We only work with 6 clients, a maximum of 6 clients every month. We don't take everybody on board. It's more of an application process. We have to go through a process of understanding whether we can actually help you. So if you scan that QR code with your phone, if you're actually on your phone watching this, just let me know afterwards. I'm happy to send you over the link to fill in. It asks you a couple of questions and it will allow you to book into our diary, a diagnostic call. On that diagnostic call, guys, it's value driven. It's not going to be a sales call. It's just understanding what are you struggling with? Can we actually help and give you some real information that's going to take what we've spoken about today and really ramp it up so you're able to take the information and take some actionable steps away for you. If it goes well, if we want to talk about how we can help, of course we can do that as well. Reduce sugar from diet. So again, sugar intake in this country is off the chart. To see it with my kids as a perfect example, they've got sugar in their shreddies. They want to eat biscuits, all this kind of stuff all the time. Sugar is a bit of an issue, guys, and it's going back into this problem I spoke about, which is this Randall cycle. So generally speaking, look at your diet at the moment. Are you eating too much sugar? Are you eating biscuits? Are you eating chocolate? Are you having crisps? Are you having too much alcohol, which can count towards your sugar as well? So really and truly, the things we need to do will increase our sugar, increase our protein, increase our good fats, and increase the greens we have in our diet. So eating the right amount of protein allows us to hold on to the muscle that's so hard to work for. Also allows us to stay full. If you have a steak with green vegetables and a couple of potatoes as an example, that will keep you full for hours. If you have a bowl of pasta, within an hour, you're going to be absolutely starving, which kind of gets you into this cycle of having carbohydrates, feeling hungry again, and eating again. And as much as you can, guys, keep your meal times as regular as you can. The body likes regularity. It likes repeating the same thing over and over again, and small improvements as we go. You'll start to feel in your body that you're getting the improvements that you want in your energy, in your strength, your fitness, and also you feel like you're kind of getting into a much more structured pattern. Right, steps then. Let's get into this final step. So steps essentially, it's what we call NEAT. It's not exercise thermogenesis. It is the movement that we do outside of our gym sessions. Okay, so all the energy we spend outside of our gym sessions. Now, you'll often hear the gold standard being 10,000 steps. If you work in an office, if you're stuck on Zoom all day, I'm sure you guys will testify to the fact that getting 10,000 steps in, being stuck on Zoom all day, is very, very difficult. Okay, I'd say if you're working in an office space, if you're kind of in a sedentary job, looking at 7,000 probably is a better place to start. Okay, with steps, with a step structure, with a step goal, it's going to force you to structure walks into your diary. Okay, now just a quick one on this now, which blows my mind, is that people think that walking or steps is exercise. It's not. If you're 95 years of age, yes, walking is an exercise, it's a workout. If you're anything under 60 or 65, no, it's not. Walking is just something that we should be doing more of. It's not, it doesn't count towards your exercise, okay? Same as gardening, okay? Gardening is great, it's movement, it's lifting stuff up, great, but it's not working out. It's a slightly different thing, okay? Now, when it comes to steps, obviously, we've got Apple Watches, we've got Garmin watches, all that stuff as well. Phones do it as well now. You want to set yourself a daily step goal. Now, I spoke to you at the start of the call when it comes to habits, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000, whatever works for you specifically. Don't just accept the gold standard of 10,000 and expect yourself to get it, because if you're stuck at a desk, you're going to really struggle. A couple of little tips for you. Doing informal meetings, having meetings with friends, colleagues, associates, with your AirPods in, physically getting out and walking. Now, it's pissing down today, so it's quite difficult. I get that. But when it's not raining, factor those into your day. Walking meetings, having informal conversations with team members, right? It can be done, okay? Coffee breaks, making sure that you get walks in from the station. Now, this comes back into habits, because if you've had a shitty sleep, if you got to bed late, if you've had a drink, if you've had too much caffeine, if you've snoozed your alarm, it pushes the whole of your morning out and makes it really difficult to get that walk in from the train station to the office, because you're probably going to jump in a cab because you're late. So you see how this kind of slots into each other really neatly, okay? So let's say you set yourself a goal of 5,000 steps per day, okay? And it gets to Saturday and you've only hit 2,500 every day, Monday to Friday, okay? Use the weekends as your top up. So take that number, a daily goal you've got, add it up over a 7-day period. Whatever's left, then set it as a goal for your weekend, because that's the time probably to have a bit more time, a bit more flexibility to get those steps in, okay? Walking is great because it's going to help with your mental health. It's going to help you to start burning body fat a little bit easier. It's going to help you stay more mobile. It's going to help you feel good about the fact that you're doing something. It's also going to keep momentum. If you've been to the gym in the morning and then you get steps in as well during the day, it keeps you moving. It's about keeping that engine moving all of the time. Okay, guys, so I've done 50 minutes there. I think that's about right. I hope that you enjoyed the information. I hope that it was helpful for you. If you do want to grab that QR code and jump on a diagnostic call, do feel free. If you need me to send you over links, you can book that in. message me after on LinkedIn, guys, Cameron Harris, and I would be happy to send that link to you directly. Any questions you've got now, guys, feel free to fire those at me. I'll give you a couple of minutes just to catch up with the recording. Okay, cool. There's a slight delay from what I'm saying and what you guys are seeing on LinkedIn. So if you do have any questions, guys, just stick them in the comments box. I'll see them after, probably. Just kind of letting this catch up a minute. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, guys. Thanks, Nigel. Thanks for turning up, mate. Thanks for showing some, throwing some questions in there as well for a couple of comments. That's great. And okay, guys, I'm going to finish the live stream now. If you have got any questions, hit me up on LinkedIn afterwards. And if you want that QR code for a diagnostic call, just give me a shout on LinkedIn as well. Have a great day, guys, and we'll speak very soon. Cheers.